Dino's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Dino's Night Out on WRMN 1410. WRMN, it's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Dino's Night Out on WRMN 1410.
Hey, and good afternoon, WRMN. It's me, Dino, from Dino's Night Out. I've been absent for a little bit, as everybody knows. I had a surgery. I had that C3 through C7 operation, which is, man, look at my arms. I could move now. I'm not using a cane. It's really amazing. I mean, I'm like a new person. But my voice still isn't 100%. I'm going to do my very best to get through the 2 hours over here. And we got a great live in the studio guest with us. His name is James Costanza. Not like George Costanza from, Seinfeld. This is a guy by the name of James. And I'm going to light up his microphone over here right now. And we're going to have you say hello to him. So go ahead, everybody. Say hi to James. James, how you doing today?
I'm good, Dean. Thanks for asking.
Do we got a little volume over there or what? Say that one more time.
I'm good, Dean.
Yeah, okay, good. I hear you now.
Good.
Yeah, I still remember the board guys. They're all looking at me funny like, hey, don't you remember how to work this thing? I got it, don't worry. But, I was going through my Rolodex like I do, and that shows, I guess, my age, Rolodex.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I went through my phone, and I was sweeping through, and it turns out you have a good friend that you know as well that I do, and he works and goes to the church with me, and he's just a gentleman. I mean, we got so many different people. I tell everybody all the time that this is not a hard job at all for me. This is just a lot of everyone's my friend, everybody. But you know Gene Garcia very well.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when I was going through everything, and I was going through my list, I says, James Costanza, I've seen you at so many different establishments. The old days we used to call them joints and lounges. And
right.
We were talking earlier, they would be like a quartet or a little a two-piece band, trio, a Tony Smith band.
Lenny Cap.
A Cap for cry. And then we had, oh my God.
How about Johnny Gabor? Do you remember Johnny Gabor?
Johnny Gabor vaguely, I got to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was same circuit.
Yep.
And then you had your comedians, Chuck Salvo.
Yep.
You had a lot of good guys that were coming in and out. But then I was going through the list and I say, man, I know this guy. I know I've seen him. And then he walks in today and I said, I'll be a son of a gun. You're who I thought you were. So welcome and thank you for being on the show.
Dean, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. You know what? This is a treat for us because you brought your bongos in here, and there's a guy by the name of Mr. Bongo, and that would be your uncle, and that's Jack Costanza. Right. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, told you before, this is a family type show. WRMN, we're all about making people comfortable. We like to get the backstories. We like to get the true stories. I don't have no script. I got your list of, where you've been, where you haven't, where you're supposed to be, but that's on you. But
right here, right now.
There you are, and we're glad you're here. But I'd like you to tell everybody who Mr. Bongo was. I mean, I know, but give the whole story if you would.
Sure, sure. Well, a lot of people ask, how did I start playing bongos? And it's like, I don't want to start with those stories and be one of those persons who, when I was 9, but it's pretty much true. When I was 5 years old, I was playing bongos with my dad. He would take me around to retirement parties or other events, and we'd do a little Simon Says thing, because he played bongos as well. And that's pretty much where I learned from my dad. But it was my uncle who got, world famous, being known as Mr. Bongo.
Right.
He started off with Stan Kenton. And
Oh my God, you're talking the bigs there.
yeah.
And you brought this great book and this great scrapbook. We were talking about that. Guys our age, James, we used to have scrapbooks. It wasn't really a brag book, but where I come from, I always felt like I would document the time in my life, whether it be a picture, whether it be put into a scrapbook. So then when we're out talking, having a few drinks, I say, yeah, Stan Kenton, we had a drink together and we did this, that, and the other one. I had a limousine business before, and I had, a lot of people. Reggie Theas, Johnny Dark. We had Tom Dreesen. I used to do all the work for his sister, had multiple sclerosis. So what we would do is we'd provide all the limousines for them. So, I could do all the name dropping. I'm not looking to do that. But you like to put it in the book because there's always some clown. You don't know Tom Dreesen. And then I say, okay, here, this is Tom Dreesen. And I got a ton of pictures with his arm around me.
Yeah.
Just a gentleman. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I bring up these books, and I'm looking through this book, man, and you got some really cool stuff in here.
My dad was meticulous with that. He labeled everything, and that generation's gone. Now every photograph we take is not as important.
And it's all on a phone now.
You never see it. You're never going to look at it. It's going to be gone. But this
It
is
doesn't
something.
mean the same because it's on a phone.
Yeah, this is something that's hard, and it's a copy of something that's, in your hands. So.
So it was your uncle then, we'll say your influence
Oh, absolutely.
for getting into this into the business?
I'll probably mention that several times. When we were growing up, he had his albums and we had a record player. That was all we had.
Yeah, okay.
And he lived in San Diego and California.
That's beautiful.
He grew
San
up in
Diego.
Chicago. He did grow up in Chicago and lived in Chicago for quite a while.
So how do you end up in California? Just because,
I think there's a
Big acts,
business.
show
Yeah, the
business?
business.
yeah,
And the weather. I'm
Hollywood, sure, of course.
Sure. And so all I would do is play on the records, put another record on, play against it. My dad would always encourage me, James, you got to do this, and do the beat, this and that. And it was just me practicing to a record. It wasn't up until maybe the 80s when he finally started visiting, my uncle. Started visiting from Chicago once a year. He'd made a yearly visit. And for a while, he would stay at my dad's. And then after that, he stayed at my house. So.
And there's where the treat came in.
Oh, yeah. I had world famous Bongo Player living with me for. And, this was at the very beginning, probably, of the internet. Up till then, he made his popularity and notoriety by word of mouth, without the internet. And I grew up hearing stories, but never really got to see anything visually until the internet came along and people were posting clips and you could search for some things. And then all of a sudden, the stories that I heard became real. Oh, Anne Margaret, or Betty Grable, or things like that he was, involved with.
And then I hear Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, yes.
I mean, you're talking top notch back then.
Yeah, and that was word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't.
Do you know how old your uncle was when he got into the business?
Oh boy,
Can you remember? Or anybody?
I don't know the story for sure.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you did.
But he was a dancer first, so.
Yeah, and that's what I saw in this book when I saw the big ruffle sleeves
Yes,
on the shirt
yes.
with, now that's Jack and who is that?
Marta, I believe. That's his first
Marta,
wife.
Yeah. They were doing the baseball routine. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. And you got the old Hollywood-style clips that they would put. They used to have a thing that came out weekly. Who's playing where?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the who's who, you know. And that's who your uncle was? My gosh. That's really something. Stan Kenton. Look at that. Pretty soon what we'll do is we'll make it where everybody can see some of these pictures. But this is really something.
The way he was inspired was there was actually a bongo player that he saw, and they were dancing, and they would mimic the dance steps, and the bongo player would play along to what the dancer was doing.
Oh, okay.
And he heard that, and he didn't have very much money or anything, so he fashioned his own bongos, out of butter tubs or whatever it was to make, to make do till he got bongos.
Sure.
But that's pretty much his start. And then eventually he moved along. I think Nat King Cole was his next, real long stay. He was with Nat King Cole for 3 years, 3.5 years.
I'm looking at a picture right now with Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, your uncle, Jack Costanza, and I don't know who's playing the stand-up bass, whoever the last guy is on the
Yeah,
end.
I'm not sure myself.
Could have just been a pickup, musician at the time. But my God, what year was that? That had to be, judging from this picture, that had to be in the mid-50s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Duke Ellington, Nat King Cole.
Yeah, he was the bongo player of the stars, if somebody, was to nickname that, other than Mr. Bongo. I think that came along, I forget who now, I'm drawing a blank. But, I would say he's been in my biggest inspiration. We would listen for either a song to come on the radio or a movie, because he was in the movies.
Bongos typically is like a Latin beat, would you not say?
Sure.
Calypso, Latin style.
Sure.
Merengue, or whatever you want to call it.
For bongos as much as, yes. Some of the misconceptions are that's all you could do. And he's one of the first people to introduce bongos to jazz.
Right.
And he popularized that in the country.
Yeah, well, and from what I know of some of the percussion is what it's all called. And a lot of the Cuban performers, they're the ones that started with the beads on the maraca style. And they would play the wooden sticks as well to go along with the beat. And to your point, from the little research I did, the dancers went to your beat. So if they were comfortable with you and they heard you play something the night before, or they see you and they act, hey, remember when you played with, Duke Ellington and you were up there and you played that one song, that's the rhythm we're looking for. And then you keep that rhythm for them and they do the rest.
Yeah, yeah.
So the bongo guy that you would think, the bongo player, that guy's beating on a couple of bongos. What is he? That's what kept the pace.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess in Puerto Rico, and I'm not a historian, of all this or any of that, but I just know that when they marched, you saw the Desi Arnaz drum where he carried along slide that's the conga drum, but they didn't have a bass drummer back then. Now the modern groups have bass drums, but the way you played the conga drums, you hit that center of the drum pretty heavy, and there was your bass beat.
Yeah, that's what kept the,
And that's what
the tempo.
And when they walked, that's what they had. They didn't have a bass drummer.
Wow. I'm looking over here, the owner of the first of 18 albums that Jack had recorded. And that's the Afro-Cuban Jazz, North of the Border. So there you have it. And I didn't know that when I said that, with the Cubans would have the different, the
types of
sticks,
rhythms, yeah.
And the different percussion pieces.
And when you play Latin music, if you show any signs of ADD,
Yeah.
that's the band to stay away from. Because you have the maracas, you have the cowbell player, you have the timbale player, and it's all just clicking and bound,
Yeah, but what do they call those chimes now? The drummers usually.
Yeah,
Is it wind chimes?
wind trees.
And they got these other things, your crank,
So many hand
Oh,
things.
my God,
But in
that they
a
have.
typical, Latin band, you got a lot of things going on. You can focus on any of that.
You got a lot of stuff in this book. This is the first time you see in this book. Fran Warren, oh my God, Nat King Cole, another picture with him. I spent a lot of time with Nat King Cole.
Yeah, and he really was sad when Nat passed away.
Yeah, I bet.
He was really good to him, and
And you go back to those days, again, Costanzo, I'm assuming you're kind of Italian. You're Sicilian, right?
right?
Okay. I'm only playing.
I know.
My Sicilian friends, I joke with them all the time. But, Nat King Cole was a superstar in his day. And because of his skin color, he wasn't able to go in all the different places.
Exactly.
Now, your uncle, they thought he was the mainliner, and they would sometimes even put his name first because Nat King Cole was a black man, and they wouldn't do it.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Isn't that terrible?
Exactly. They told Nat that he had to walk in the back way.
Yeah.
And my uncle was livid.
Couldn't eat in the restaurant.
He was livid. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing it. And it's just, Jack, just go ahead. Just go do what you got to do. And
Yeah. Well, that's a similar story with, the Rat Pack. But Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., those three were close. Yeah, you had the Peter Lawfords and, Shirley MacLaines and all the others. But those three guys were tight. And when they told them about Sammy can't perform here, Frank says, well, guess what? None of us are going to perform here.
Right.
Guess
Right.
what happened? They performed. So that's great. And I know the character just by talking to you the time we've had together, and I can imagine how your father was. Hey, if he's not going in the front door, or
Yeah.
I'm not going in the front
Yeah.
door. So that's really something. You got to. Oh my God, I'm looking one
looking
picture
at-
after another.
that's with Elvis in a movie. He was actually one of his first speaking parts. He had and probably his only speaking part. But he was in that movie quite a bit and did a few solo.
Harem Scarum.
Yes, not one of Elvis's biggest movies.
You know what? He stood next to Elvis Presley,
I-
and he acted on a stage, and it's in film, and it's in the history. Don't tell me it's not one of his better. You can't have a bad film,
Right.
especially when you're Elvis Presley.
Right, right.
Oh, my gosh, that's something. And he's all these other ones as well. Yeah, and there was a lot of production work back then, man. A lot of production work. Peggy Lee, Tony Bennett. Peggy Lee, my God. I just can't believe it. I'm just blown away. If there's some way, I don't know if I could do it on mine, if I could show the picture here. But this right here is Jack. He's doing a benefit at the Lexington Health Care Home. And that's Mr. Bongo right there. So I don't know, folks, if we're zoomed in enough, if you can see him, I'll get a better picture for you. But he's in here with everybody. I mean, you name
Yeah,
it.
it was Harry James and Buddy Rich. He was in
Tony-
the movie with Jerry Lewis and A Visit to a Small Planet. Him and Buddy Rich did a lounge scene, and
Buddy Rich, the drummer, Buddy Rich.
Buddy
Yeah.
Rich. They were good friends. He used to hang out with Buddy Rich, and one of the stories I remember was before the strip was completed.
Yeah.
Buddy got this big, I don't remember what type of car it was, maybe a Lincoln or a Corvette. I'm not sure which one, but he was going to take this Corvette or flying down the street. And my uncle wasn't too sure whether he realized that street was not completely finished and resurfaced.
Ricardo Montalban. I mean, I would imagine with the people that your uncle hung out with. Here's a picture, if I could get it for everybody to see. That's right there. That's Jack Costanza with Ricardo Montalban. And that's what what do you call that? Double bongo type of thing? What
That's,
is it? Bongo?
those are bongos. The taller ones are the conga drums.
Oh, that's the Ricky,
Yes.
the Desi Lou stuff. Okay, I got you.
Now,
Yeah.
this next thing you're coming up to in this book, it's a movie with Pat Boone called Bernadine. And this is really cool because it had Dick Sargent, I think it is, from
Yeah, it is.
Bewitched.
Yeah.
And
Terry Moore, James Drury.
yeah, it's about a college
Ronnie
kid
Burns.
going through school, and he's going to try and ditch school studying because he wanted to go here, Mr. Bongo, and they use his real name in the movie. We're going to see Jack Costanza, Mr.
Yeah.
Bongo. He's playing at the, and so. So, I mean, I just found that like incredibly funny. It was just like, oh my gosh, they actually have him, using his real name.
This made, looking at the book, and folks, this book is amazing. We're going to find a way, if you'll allow me to take some pictures, and we'll get these posted at a later date here, because, I mean, this is really something. You got to see it to believe it. But the little clip here says, Jack Costanza, from Carnegie Hall to Hollywood, an international recording artist featured in 16 albums, 11 movies, with world-famous artists, including, and here they all are, Judy Garland, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Stan Kenton, Elvis Presley, Rita Moreno, Marlon Brando, Betty Grable, Harry James, Debbie Reynolds, Gary Cooper, Vic Damone, Francis Faye, Ray Anthony, Jane Powell, Pat Boone, Dean Martin, and my favorite. I think I love it. Yeah, Frank Sinatra was a wonderful singer, great guy, but I think Dean Martin had the swag.
He did.
And the class out of anybody I ever met. Okay, we got to see him backstage. Yeah, when I was
Oh, you
when I
did?
was a fireman. Yeah, but when the Rat Pack was still around in the '70s, I had the opportunity to go backstage.
Oh, nice.
So, and then you got here, Danny Kaye. Oh my God, Red Skelton, Art Linkletter. Come on, Ed Sullivan, Shecky. Remember Shecky Green? Boy, what an act he would put on. That was X-rated when Shecky Green did his. Tony Curtis. Oh my God, Kean Wynn, Van Johnson. Van Johnson, a real handsome guy. Yeah. Oh God, Carolyn Jones, Hugh O'Brien. So this is probably the time when he probably made that switch and ended up more into the California, San Diego type
Right,
stuff.
right.
Yeah, this would be close to Hollywood. Look at this. Getting a hug from Judy Garland. Could you imagine that?
Like I
my
said,
God.
she wanted him to go on tour, and due to his family or whatever it was, he couldn't do it. He had to tell her no, and she wanted to go. She wanted him to go with them.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Or her.
Absolutely amazing. Well, I tell you what, you could have had a better inspiration. You know?
Yeah.
And we're going to be getting to a break. It's a hard break at the bottom of the hour in just a few moments. And, I don't often get like this till like, wow. But when you see a book like this with the man you're describing, your uncle, here's our song. We're going to be grateful. But this is really something. I can't tell you, Jen, how much I appreciate you coming in here today. You're going to stick around, right?
I will.
I got a whole bunch more I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
There's a whole lot more you can go into. Hey, everybody, you're listening to Dino's Night Out, sponsored by Ron Onesti from the Arcada Theater, Oshows.com. We're here every single Friday from 2 to 4. We give Tammy and friends a little break. They wanted Fridays off, so they threw me in. So here's I am. And we're going to come back in just a little bit, and Jack's going to tell us a whole lot more about his uncle. So stay tuned, and we'll be with you in just a bit. Hey, we are back to Dino's Night Out, right here at WRMN, Studio 14, downtown Elgin. That's 14 Douglas, those of you playing the home game. And we've got such a guest here in this studio, brought the most amazing book in the world, and then the two geniuses, Dennis and Matt. I now have it to where I'm going to be able to show you some of these pictures. So I'm going to get right back right away to my guy over here, James, and we have some people that have asked some questions too. So James, I want to see what the first one says. It says, who did you grow up admiring musically other than Mr. Bongo? I know the answer is Mr. Bongo, but other than him, who did you grow up admiring?
I really have a tough time when that question comes around.
How about a style of music then?
Yeah. Well, here's the situation. Growing up through high school, I was playing bongos, but in high school band, I started playing drums, and I didn't know how popular bongos were going to be in modern music. But I learned later on that I had to make a decision. You know, do I want to play bongos or do I want to play drums? And
So where's home when you say home?
Chicago. I'm a Northwest Side.
Oh, Northwest. Okay.
Yeah. And I started playing drums, and some of the influences were like Chicago, the band Chicago. I like that drumming.
Oh my God.
And
How can
the
you not
horns.
like those horns, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Some of that, comes from Latin music. Had a lot of horns.
There's a
band.
we had on not too long ago the Chicago Experience. You may have heard of them
Sure.
before. Yeah. Frost, a good friend. Boy, they just play just like them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're just
I've heard 'em.
absolutely wonderful. So that's kind of the background, that little bit of era.
Chicago,
Yeah.
Journey, Boston.
sure,
I like those kind of groups.
Well, that was George Rollinson was the one that asked you that question. And then he asked me something, I guess it says, when you had your limousine business, did you chauffeur one of the Rolling Stones? Well, no, I wouldn't chauffeur him. What happened was I had a limousine business, and I did a nighttime charter. At the time, it was called the Limelight, if you remember downtown.
Yeah.
And I had this Detroit record producer. So he wanted to go here, he wanted to go there. So him and his, lady. And I had a Lincoln at the time, a small stretch, 54-inch. And my back door in the cold, I didn't realize the lock didn't latch. So I'm, I got my overcoat on and I'm standing inside the door. And I was a policeman part-time at the time. So we did executive protection. So I was armed. And so all of a sudden I see everybody running out the doors and they're jumping into my car. So I said, oh, something's wrong here. So I go running over there. I says, guys, look, you got to get out of the car. I said, this is not your car. And so I must have been his manager. I mean, I never saw a fistful of hundreds like he was trying to give to me. They were going to the pump room. He says, it's just right around the corner. I said, look, I said, I know my geography. You get out of my car. This is not your car. I'd love to take you. I said, but it's reserved. Well, who's in it? That's none of your business. So then I'm reaching over trying to get these morons there, grabbing it, there's booze in the back, because, it's a completely set up with the liquor. So I'm bent over, and I used to wear a shoulder rig at the time. So me doing that, the one guy, he grabs for my gun out of my, out of my jacket. So I grab him and I throw him off to the sidewalk. And back then, Chicago police, the big bars, they always had a cop or two at the front door. And they stepped in right away, boy, and they just took him away, 1, 2, 3. He says, I'm Ron Wood. You don't know who I am. I said, no, I know exactly who you are. I said, obviously, you don't know who I am. Now get out of my car. So, yeah, I threw him out of the limousine. And it was in his car.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing if it was anybody else.
Right.
No, you
It
can't
just
do
happened
that.
with him.
Yeah. But I told George that story a long time ago, and, he's kind of always remembered that. And I bet you know George Rollinson. I'm sure you bumped into him.
Maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. George, you got to see him on the screen. Let's flip over here. If you're still listening, I know you know James. And but anyhow, we've been telling some good stories, and we now have the webcam. So here on the webcam, everybody could see. We're now showing Jack and his wife, right?
Right.
Marta, when he was a dancer. So he was some kind of a guy. He looked pretty smooth over there. He had all the moves. He had the looks. He was doing great. And then he also did some more work, more like that. We were talking about the Latin steps, and you can see it over here now with the little ruffles like the Desi Arnaz would do.
Yes. Yes.
My horse and carriage is for hire. Remember that song? So, yeah. So, I mean, my God, your uncle was something, man. Let's see what else do we have. Here, Stan Kenton. We were talking about all the different people he was with. Jack with his wife. They did a lot of dancing together. Who do we got over on that one? Carnegie Hall. I mean, who plays in Carnegie Hall?
That was with Nat King Cole. That was
Yeah.
the first bongo player to do a solo, and that's one of my favorites. That he played with Nat King Cole. They arranged something.
And there's a
wrote it
picture on the
together,
bottom, folks. Can you imagine that?
and It's just incredible. If you ever listen to Go Bongo with Nat King Cole
Yeah.
on a CD or streaming, however you get it.
This book is priceless. I know you know that, but this book is just amazing. The people, here's what I was telling everybody: Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, and who's that guy there, standing right over here? That is Jack Costanza. Now he's not on the bongos; he's on
The conga drum, yes.
the conga.
Conga.
I'll get it right. Okay, I gotta write it down too. All right, so he was on a conga drum. So, and then we got the big stand-up bass player over there. And then there's Jack when he was probably the 70s, you're
Right.
saying? That was your uncle back then?
Yep.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, my God. And the pictures, they just go on and on. And this is the Afro-Cuban jazz, north of the border. And this is another one, playing with...
Do you know what
one after
regarding
the
that
other.
album? I just thought I saw every one of his albums. And I don't know, the internet is good sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it catches you doing things you don't want it to.
But I located an album that I've never seen before.
Really?
And I was able to buy it.
Oh,
on
you
top
were...
of it.
Yeah, that's the cool part.
And so I had it. I haven't posted any pictures of it yet, but I'll listen to it.
We've got quite a library upstairs. It used to be on the main level, but as we're going through the transition and renovations around here, we're going to have to go into that and see if we can't find maybe, who knows? I bet you we could have some Costanza music over here. You don't know?
Some of them are, yeah, quite popular.
Yeah.
Learn to play bongos. That's like all over the place. eBay has a lot of albums, and then every once in a while you see some prices on them that are just, you'll shake your head saying, what?
Yeah, they get a little crazy. This is that Elvis Presley movie we were talking about, Harem Scarum.
Yep.
Actually had a role, speaking words, the whole 9 yards.
Yep, he had a couple good scenes
Nice.
and a song with him, a featured song.
What do we got on this one here now? Yeah, here's Mr. Bongo again. He was doing a benefit at the Lexington Healthcare Home. That's what I was telling you. So definitely at the El Rancho in Vegas he played. It was definitely a giving individual. Would you say that? Your
Yeah.
uncle was a pretty
Yes.
pretty charismatic guy?
Oh, that is exactly the word.
Yeah.
Because not only was his bongo playing phenomenal, but he had that personality that people just,
He gravitated to.
Yeah.
Sure. He was a regular guy.
And speaking of that, when I thought and I knew, all about him, is like, okay, he's a bongo player, great bongo player. But then when he started coming to visit, I saw the depth of other things besides bongos that he liked and enjoyed.
Yeah.
He was a huge Cubs fan.
Oh, was he really?
Yes.
Oh, that's something.
I mean, sorry, Sox players, but
Hey,
but
I'm a home team.
yeah,
My mom always loved the Cubs, and we lived on the south side, 26th and Wallace. So, to be a Cub fan,
yeah.
and she didn't make 5 foot, she didn't care. I'm a Cub fan, That's who you like. But
Yeah.
look at this picture here. Who do we got here? We have, this is Tony Bennett.
Spike Lee.
Yeah. Peggy Lee is in here. Oh,
Where's
my
Spike?
God. Look at the pictures here. Oh, what a book. Here's the one that I was telling you also about. This is the Bernadine, that movie you were talking about. That was the one with Pat Boone.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they use his real name.
Dick Sargent.
Yes.
Well, Dick Sargent he became, but he was Richard in the early movies. Yeah, they switched his name. Oh, look at here. Here's the one I was telling you also about. Who's that guy there? That's a Ricardo Montalban.
Yes.
With the Corinthian leather.
Yes.
You think that's what was on the bongo at the time? Corinthian leather?
No.
I didn't think so. Spike Jones. Oh, my God. I can't believe this book. Folks, we're going to make some copies of this. When we piece this and re-put it onto the YouTube, we're going to do this.
You got Carolyn Jones on the bottom there from
Satan Bug movie, too. Oh, my God. Oh, go ahead. You got what?
Oh, Carolyn Jones is on that bottom picture there from the Munsters.
Oh, is that who that is?
That's Lily from the Munsters.
I'll be a son of a gun. Oh, my. And now here, look at this. Everybody got to know who this is. If you don't know who this lady is, don't even watch us no more. Judy Garland. Can you imagine that? Judy Garland, along with Joe Huskin, the pianist, I guess. I never heard of him.
Yeah,
I
no,
gotta
those
be
would be the
honest.
locals that they use.
I know Jack Costanza, I could say now. I never knew Jack Ruskin, but hey, maybe there's an uncle to him. Come on. Love to have you guys interview. Can you believe that? Look at that. Look at this. Even got Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, he had that program that I'm not sure the name of it right offhand, but that's the one with Marlon Brando,
Right.
where he featured my uncle Jack and Marlon Brando, and they call him down to a room where Marlon Brando and him jam on the conga drums together.
Oh, God.
And I have that conga drum that Marlon Brando played on.
You really do.
My dad would always tell me, you know, Marlon Brando played on that conga drum.
Don't ever get rid of that one. And then you have over here, well, he was on the Dinah Shore show. And then this is that thing I was telling you about. In Hollywood, it's the Hollywood Reporter. If you could see it. Do I have it on the...
There
it
you
is.
go.
The Hollywood Reporter. And that came out each and every week. They would review all the acts that are in Vegas or Lake Tahoe or any place that's, someplace that was having something going on. And there it was with Ann Miller. Can you imagine? Ann Miller, was she the swimmer or the ice skater? She was
Tap dance.
I know she had something with the legs.
Yep.
Yeah, she had a,
Fantastic tap dance.
remember $1 million policy on her legs or something? Yeah, it was Ann Miller, somebody, yeah. Yeah, she was quite a dancer.
Yep. Yep.
To me, the legs are a little too hefty for me, but that's okay. I got more Jack with Ann Miller again. Look at this. Yeah. Is that something? Dinah Shore, the bottom picture over here.
Yeah,
Look at
she
that.
introduced him like that. She said, world's famous bongo player, Jack Costanza,
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not even through the whole book.
It's not the whole book. It'll end shortly.
Well, but my point, I'm not even through the whole thing. And to me, he's the greatest bongo player. Because look at all these people he's played with. Who plays with that many different people in that era as well?
Right.
You know, getting into show business years ago, is pretty tough.
Yes.
Wow. Look here. Jack Costanza. Can you see that? I mean, that's him. The whole billing is his. And his orchestra. So here's the bongo player that who would think that would be the lead, right? Typically it's the stand-up bass guy, the guitar player. But here you got the bongo player.
That's what I've
The
often
lead,
thought
isn't it?
about is how did he make two little drums
Right?
to that
The main act.
level of notoriety by playing two little drums. I'll tell you how. He knew how to play, and he made the tones that he made and created.
Oh, here again. Another Nat King Cole photo with Jack. And he's playing the Congo.
Yes, the conga drums.
Now, what do you call? There's another. I have one at home. It's a bongo.
And it's got a tube at the bottom.
It goes down and it comes out.
Yeah, that's a djembe.
And what's that?
A djembe. It's like more of an African drum.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because you know where I got it from? Do you remember the Buddha Bar downtown? By time, it was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Anyhow, we got to know the guy pretty good, and then the guy that was playing it. And that you have a few drinks, you're tipping the guy really good, and what have you. And I said, man, this is really a neat little bass. He says, yeah. He says, I don't like it. It doesn't give me the sound I want. He says, it's yours. I said, what? I still have it.
Nice.
I said, you're kidding me. He said, no. He said, this is for you. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
I always thought of him as the poor man's conga drum, because conga drums were a little more expensive, and you could get away with playing on a djembe without half the price.
1998, Latin Beat Magazine. Look at that. And he's got that double bongo there. Wow. Now, do you, the depth of the bongo, the wood piece, not the skin, we're just talking
The shell.
the shell then, are they different lengths and maybe tapered on certain angles for different sounds, or am I making it too complicated?
No, you're correct. You are right. They do have some, but they're all within range. You can make them like diameter 9-inch heads or smaller.
He's on the Dave Letterman show. That's Dave Letterman right there. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, this is priceless. Absolutely priceless book. Folks, we're going to get this put on. We're going to make sure that you can see these pictures.
He was doing some shows over here in this other one where he came into the Flame and Countryside.
Okay, I
when the
remember.
Flame was
for
around.
Sure. Yeah.
And Johnny Gabor was there as a house band for a long time. And when he came in on a yearly thing, he did a show there. And he featured, my uncle. And then I got called up to do a song. And when my uncle came in town, if I was at a club or something like that, boy, you had to be on your toes, because I knew that whenever he got there, because we were in different cars, and maybe my dad drove him to where I was playing. I was already there, set up and playing. I knew when he walked in, I better be on my toes, because
Oh, yeah.
because he will hear every note, every wrong hand motion or whatever.
And he didn't mind telling you either.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to make you good.
Yeah,
He wanted to keep you good as him. You had the same last name.
yeah.
You
And
got to keep that going, man.
one of the things I can share with you is, in his later years, one of the last visits he had, he told me, James, he said, and this is really off the cuff, and he said, "You've become quite a bongo player, a conga drum player." He said,
Wow.
and I want you to know, coming from me. And I understood what he was saying, because people can hear, and they say, "Wow, you play really good." But this is a guy that's seen all the conga drum players throughout the years,
Sure.
of the best of the best. And if he says, "I want you to know that's coming from me," knowing that I know that you can play.
That's something.
So I kind of cherish that thought.
No, you should.
But
How long has your uncle been passed away now?
I think since 2018.
And we
He
have
just
some
missed his
other
100th.
pictures we're going to show too.
Yeah, he just missed his 100th birthday.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Let me show you this picture. Now I know I like Costanza all the way. He was at the Naval Air Base, Great Lakes, Navy man. My father was a Navy man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I knew there was something about it. I knew it.
Yeah, there was a story about somebody sneaking in, either my dad or him, because they were colorblind, and they stood in front of each other so that they could see the test score to get into the. They wanted
yeah.
to get in.
Yeah. Wow, look at all these.
Yeah, this is my
Look
dad.
at these. These are something. That's okay. These are great. Look at everything's signed. My God. And here, we want to get to these other photos I want to show you. How come I can't get it? Ah, here we are. Let's switch over. Again, everybody, our show's brought to you by the Arcada Theater, oshows.com. Ron Onesti. James knows Ron real well. I'm sure he's played over his place once or twice.
I have, and so is my uncle.
Yeah.
My uncle didn't play. He was called up. My brother's really good friends with him, and when Ron heard that my uncle was in town, it was for an Elvis show that my brother was involved with at the Arcada. He asked my uncle to come forward and stand on stage with him and talk about some things. And it was a cool time.
Yeah. I got this up here now. So we're calling you now James Bongo Costanza. That's okay?
I'll have to
I
use
can do
that.
that? Yeah, we're going to coin that. Today we just gave you that name. So where were you playing here now? You have 3 of those congos.
The congo drums. Those are some nice.
Is it 3 or is it 4? I think I see another one.
No, that's just 3.
Oh, okay.
That's a horn band called Brass in the Past.
Uh-huh.
They play locally around here, and pretty good band, actually.
Have you had the opportunity to play with Chicago Experience?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Good guys.
Yep.
And over here, now I know this one picture, the black and white picture, means a lot to you. Tell us why.
Okay, that is the last picture that I played at his memorial, his life celebration of life memorial in San Diego, and that was with the group that he recorded the last few CDs with. So it was pretty surreal because I got to play not only with his band and hear what he heard, but represent him and in front of his family. So the pressure was on. I mean,
Sure
all the
was.
relatives were there, and I have to do this like perfect.
Yeah, but you had the endorsement.
Well, yeah.
He already told you that you were a good.
There's a long story
good band
behind
player.
this. You know, I came there and they didn't know if I could play or not. The group that there was a Latin band all ready to go for this, and I'm coming in from Chicago because my cousin said, "Yeah, he wants to do his song," And I could hear my dad saying, "You're going to let somebody else do his signature song, you know, with the solo that he does?"
Sure.
So I had to step in. I had to step it up and say, "Okay, I really want to do this song." And then I played it once at rehearsal, and tears were coming down their eyes.
Of course.
Because they were like, "Oh yeah, I did it very close to what he would do, exactly like that."
Now, was your father and your uncle close?
Oh
You know, his
yeah,
kids and
my
everything?
dad's biggest fan was my dad was my uncle's biggest fan.
Yeah. And I see this. What's that silver drum? Is
Those
that
are the
just like a
timbales.
snare drum?
I play with a Santana Supernatural
okay.
Santana tribute band,
Oh, okay.
and so I played all the percussion for that.
Look at that. Well, listen, we're at the top of the hour. Do you feel like sticking around for just a little longer?
Sure.
We'll talk a little bit some more. We're at the top of the hour. You're listening to James Costanza. That's James, Mr. Bongo Costanza. Yeah. And his dad, uncle rather, was really something. Jack Costanza. And Mr. Bongo's where that name was coined. They gave him that name. His father, uncle rather, have played with so many huge artists that too many to mention. And we're going to get them on the book for everybody. I mean, this is a pleasure to be in the studio with you, hearing the stories that you're telling us. You know, get these stories. This is what I'm telling you. This is what family stories are all about. And that's what we like to hear. So I hope you're comfortable with telling these stories.
Sure.
And when you come back, we'll close with just a few more.